Welcome. It's February 27th, 2025, Thursday, and I'm talking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today,
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Too much red tape.
Yeah. You're looking well.
Thank you.
You got a nice sweater and nice jeans on. And you had a pretty good day, didn't you?
Huh?
You had a pretty good day, didn't you?
Yeah.
I want the staff to hand one of these at a time. Staff? I got some things I wanted to show you. Hand that one to Mr. Jeckovich, please.
And show it up to the camera, John. Hold it up to the camera.
Yeah, who made that picture? That's
Came from the internet.
Hold it up.
Huh?
That picture was drawn by the guy that didn't have any money,
Yeah.
and he says, "I'll do your laundromat if you let me."
Well, yeah,
And you
yeah.
got free wash, so that's nice. So put it right there. I'll hand you the next exhibit.
Yeah, that's it,
Isn't
yeah.
that a beautiful laundromat?
Yeah.
He just come in now?
It was on the internet. We printed it out. Here's the second one we want to show you, Mr. Jeckovich. See if you can recognize this lady.
That's Delphine.
Yeah, hold it up for the camera to see. She's holding a sign saying, "Everything will be okay,"
Yeah.
with the Ghostbusters. That's
Yeah.
Mr. John J. Jeckovich's wife of 69 years old, Delphine Stulak Jeckovich. You recognize that picture?
Yeah. This
Feels
is
like-
this is the garage.
Yeah. Everything will be okay. See how Delphine was holding it up?
Yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful? Got that box?
Yeah. I'll look at this.
Yeah, hand it to me now.
Wait, just a minute.
Yeah, everything will be okay, huh?
Let me have it. You like those pictures, Mr. Jeckovich?
Huh?
Those are pretty nice pictures, weren't they?
Yeah.
Let me see what we got here. This just came in. To John J. Jeckovich,
From the McGillicuddies out of Seattle,
the
Washington.
McGillicuddy families from Seattle, Washington. We watch your show at least 3 or 4 times a week. My kids really like it, and my son's in the Navy. McGillicuddy's gave you this.
Open the box.
McGillicuddy's.
They have a nursery where they do all sorts of flowers and stuff, John. They sent you this.
Oh, this goes on the door, huh?
Yeah, they sent you this wreath
Hand
for
it to Mr.
spring.
Jeckovich so we can hold it
Let me
up.
take it out of the egg. They have a nursery where they put flowers and stuff together.
Yeah, that's for the McGillicuddy family.
Yeah, hold it up for everybody to see it.
Oh, geez, I can't grab it. All right, here.
Yeah, there we go.
That's very nice.
Okay, you can lay it on the seat now. Thank you, the McGillicuddy
Thank you
family.
very much. I'll
It
put
was
that
very
away.
thoughtful, and that can be used on St. Patrick's Day also.
Or spring,
Or when?
or springtime,
Okay.
spring and summer.
Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, "Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift." Today is a gift, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925 when gasoline was 7 cents a gallon. A beautiful house was less than $2,000, and a nice car was $500 new. Back then, the husband worked, and total groceries for a family of 4 were between $10 to $15 per week, and the wife took care of the family in the house. Things have changed, huh, Mr. Jeckovich?
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich in 2025 will be 100 years old. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100 years old. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on that door of 100 years old. Mr. Jeckovich jogged for 80 years. He started jogging before it was fashionable. When you start jogging, Mr. Jeckovich, how'd the public react to that?
Get off the streets, you bum.
And what else they throw at you?
And it throws stones at me and all that nonsense.
When Mr. Jeckovich started jogging 80 years ago, and he continued into his 90s, it wasn't an acceptable form of exercise. They thought he was jogging because they couldn't afford a car. They threw stones at him, and they threw empty cans of Genesee beer, and at one time they even threw a full can of Campbell's soup and popped him in the head. But if you fast forward many decades, jogging became acceptable and a great form of longevity. On the way to the studio, by the way, we're in Studio 1B today. On the way to the studio, I noticed many joggers in bright neon outfits, matching pants, socks, sweatshirts, hats even, and matching gloves.
Water bottle.
Yeah, and that's right. They had water bottles wrapped around their waist, and they had headphones in listening to music. As time went on, did you actually step up and buy this stuff?
No.
You never did.
I stayed where I was.
Mr. Jeckovich stayed with the boots, the corduroy pants, and the sweatshirts, and it did him well. And all those people that were sarcastic to Mr. Jeckovich 80 years ago about him jogging, I assure you, Mr. Jeckovich got the last laugh, and they're all pushing up daisies. That's for sure. That's for sure. Mr. Jeckovich, you got many text messages we have to catch up on. Do you feel like answering any text messages?
Yeah, go ahead.
But before we do, let's put at least a couple pages of your of your book under our belt. So what's your dog tag number?
42965.
Okay, that's the password to open up the laptop. I'll just hit on page 3 and 4 today, and then we'll go to the text messages because we're way behind. We're way behind on the text messages. Page 3. The book is entitled Their Mother's Sons. Steve decided to go to high school and take college preparatory course. I followed him a year later and decided to go to a vocational school. What was the name of the vocational?
Trot vocational.
Trot vocational.
Yeah, but I went half a day to Trot, half a day to high school.
So you had a split classroom. Niagara Falls High School, half, Trot vocational.
Well, at Niagara Falls High School, I got my 6A units if I wanted to go to school.
Oh, wow. Let's see. I had not talked to my parents about this decision as they were not concerned. So your parents didn't care one way or the other about college, right?
Well, they worried about me that if I go to college, I won't be doing the work home.
Okay. Okay.
That's how I was thinking.
Several years later, Sally decided to go to high school also. In between these two events, Lookie dropped out of high school.
Yeah, I never finished school.
I'll be damned, but he had a pretty nice job as a reporter. That took a lot of education.
Well, he was in the stupid Coast Guard.
Oh, and that taught him well? Okay. As I entered vocational school, the old feeling about the difference in students overpowered me. My self-esteem went way down as I encountered them on a daily basis. Not that I thought I was better than they, it was just they were a great deal more immature and had other values from mine. So the students in your classes were immature.
Well, they were immature, they're just different. I mean, they're different.
For example, when you worked at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years, and you never missed a day, and you walked to work in rain or snow or any type of horrible weather, and never had one of your tires of your car ever enter the Kimberly-Clark parking lot, which they also cheated you out of your pension totally. That's another session. This is an example I'll use. You were running the big machines, right? The printing machines, or what machines were you running?
Well, you mean talking Kimberly Clark?
Yeah.
The paper machines.
Okay. Paper machines. They're big, heavy, hot.
Yeah, they're mile long, yeah.
Hot machines, 120 degrees in there.
And dryers in there, yeah.
So the example I'm going to use about you thought the students were different, I'll use the example of Kimberly Clark. All the guys when they got out of the work, they went immediately to the red spot.
Yeah.
They asked you to go, but you didn't want no
Yeah,
part
I
of
worried
it.
my head, I'll see how I'm going.
You didn't want nothing a part of
Yeah,
it.
no.
By the way, Red Spot is a neighborhood bar, a stone's throw from Kimberly Clark, and all the workers would go there and play shuffleboard, cards,
Till about 1 o'clock or more afternoon.
and do a hell of a lot of drinking. So you just told them,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so that's the same type of people we're talking about. They were different. You didn't want no part of that lifestyle. Not that I thought I was better than they, I just thought they were a great deal more immature and had other values from mine. I chose an electrical course not because of any great desire or interest oh, that's interesting. I chose an electrical course not because of any great desire or interest in anything electrical, but mainly because I thought there'd be great disparity in the students taking this course than say with automotive or carpentry or welding.
They're right.
This proved to be correct. I remember Dave Sedlak. Who's Donald Sedlak?
Donald Seller, smart guy. Smart guy.
Was he a student?
Yeah.
Who went on to become an electrical engineer as a decent student, sincere and dedicated to his studies. How about Thomas Holder?
That's another one, yeah.
Sedlak's best friend, which was not as dedicated as his friend, was an excellent student and graduated top of his class. Edwin Robbins, while an exceptional student,
He's a spoiled brat.
okay.
Yeah.
Edwin Robbins, while an exceptional student, was privileged to the extent that I thought he was favored by some of the teachers due to them knowing his
Well,
parents.
see, his father was a teacher there.
Okay, of course. He made the most improved student in his final year.
Named the what?
Most improved student. He
Oh, they
received
say
an
they
award.
put that down in the daybook, yeah.
Yeah. Bernard Wallenberg,
Walmart, he's a guy from Ransomville. Nice guy.
a quite intelligent
Farmer, yeah.
A quite intelligent student from a small farm community. I don't know how the hell you remember all this. A small student from a small farm community went to prosper in his own electrical contracting business. Stanley Gibbous.
Gibbous.
Stanley Gibbous.
Yeah, he lived on McKenna there, yeah.
The least likable, I thought, became electrician in a local plant. And then there was David Lass,
Yeah.
a problem student who struggled through the 2-year course and then joined the Air Force upon graduation. He was later shot down over France and listed missing in
Yeah,
action.
he was gone, yeah, he was gone.
Lastly, Robert Stevenson, the executive type, was class president and later student council president. He went on to become a CEO of a General Electric plant. There were others in the graduating class of 1941, a total of 13. I do not recall them, or they have seemed passive and inconsequential as I must have appeared to Mr. Trezelt.
Tressel.
Who's Trezelt?
He's my homeroom teacher.
Oh.
He's an electrical engineer too.
Was he a good teacher?
Oh, yeah.
Our instructor for these 2 years. In passing, I must say I never did have a strong binding friendship with any of these students. I did not bring any of them home to meet my parents, nor did I socialize them outside of the school environment. My total contact with them was in school setting. This is not to say that I would not have enjoyed or desired their friendship, but it was not possible, I thought.
Why?
I don't know, you said it was not possible.
Well, they come from a different culture.
Okay. The most intimate contact I might have had was with Mr. Finger. Who's Mr. Finger?
Finger, he was a drafted teacher. Yeah. No, he was social studies.
Our science teacher caught me cheating on a test. He reprimanded me and gave me extra work and made me take the most difficult test there was. I had cheated on. I got a 96 on the test. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It was not until almost 10 years later I met Mr. Finger again. Where'd you meet Mr.
Finger worked in Kimberly Clark as a millwright on holidays,
I'll be damned.
Summer.
I'll be damned. 10 years later, I met Mr. Finger again in a working environment in which he called me by my first name and shook my hand. He then told me that I was one of his better students and asked what I was doing working here.
Yeah, Kimberly Clark, yeah.
He was working there.
Well, it was summertime.
During my school years, we moved several times. Each move was worse than the last, with the exception of the last two. My first recollection of living anywheres was a house on Livingston Avenue. Was that in the 3000 block, like 3053?
Yeah.
Okay. There must not have been many homes on Livingston back then.
No, they were scattered. Yeah.
My first recollection of living anywheres was a house on Livingston Avenue. That's Niagara Falls, New York, by the way. Although I do not remember much that went on there, other than my sister was going through the hall window.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I was taking her down in a buggy. She was young. She was about 4 years old. And my brother said, take her downstairs and take her outside for some sun, some fresh air. And when I started taking her down the buggy, I was slipping down the steps. And one step was, the molding was off, and I slipped on it, and I let go of the buggy.
And she went right through the window?
Yeah.
Was there much injury?
No, she wasn't injured at all.
How did you have to repair the window yourself?
No, I didn't get, well, no, it was on the second floor.
Okay. Wow, I didn't know that. My mother said it was due to my irresponsible and careless nature. According to my recollection of the event, I was taking my sister down a flight of stairs while she was in the buggy or stroller. Somehow I lost control of the stroller and my sister bumped down the stairs into the buggy, struck a low-hung window, and shattered a lower pane of glass. My sister was not hurt. Wow, that was a story.
Well, if she shattered the glass with the buggy, she didn't get hurt. She didn't go through the glass or nothing.
My other memory of Livingston Avenue is that we had a credit book at the local grocery store.
The Wozniaks, yeah.
Wozniaks?
No, Wozniaks.
Every time we bought something, the grocer would write down the amount in this little notebook. Then my parents would pay it back at the end of the week.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Our next place was a resident on Monroe. I didn't know you lived on Monroe.
Yeah.
Is that like 3053 or something like that?
Yeah.
It was in that 30th block, right?
Yeah.
Then this was also a second-story apartment, not better than a place on Livingston Avenue. Some of the events I recall there were vague, while others were quite clear. The more obscure events were spending a winter there. I remember the snow on the hedges in front and a house being pushed into them while fighting with a couple of boys from school. Did you fight with boys often?
The what?
It says you were fighting with boys from school.
I was fighting with boys
Well,
in
let me
school.
read this again.
There was one bully in school, yeah.
Let me read this again. I remember the snow on the hedges in front of the house and being pushed into them
Yeah.
while fighting with a couple of boys from school. So those were bullies then, right?
Yeah, he was a bully, yeah.
I remember the rubber gunfights we had. I do not recall who was there, but I'm sure my brothers were not there. So how'd you make these rubber guns?
He took a piece of 2x4 and the length of a, supposed to be a regular revolver, length of a revolver, and put a clip in there. It would put tension on it, and then put a rubber band over that and put it on the front. And then when you pull the trigger, the rubber band would
So the
come out.
rubber band, what,
9 minutes.
9?
9, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you made these. Rubber guns were just short 2x4s with a small nail driven into the bottom and a short squeeze stick at the end. Several inner tube bands held another inner band between them. This was your ammunition. My most vivid recollection was my brother Steve's birthday party on Monroe Avenue.
Yeah.
Let's see what this says. This was upstairs. Wow.
That was a pretty exotic birthday party too.
Really? Tell us.
Yeah, they had she had a band there and everything.
Wow. This was upstairs in our apartment, including the party of a 5-piece band.
Yeah.
Wow. All the ice cream cake, God bless you, all the ice cream cake and soft drink you could eat. Wow. Most of Steve's classmates and several relatives made up the party. I can recall the neighbors standing around in the front of the house listening to the music.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty nice event.
That was Stevie's birthday party.
Okay. On a similar vein, I remember my own birthday at the same house. It consisted of a spaghetti dinner and a black clicking toy pistol.
Yeah.
I remember walking outside that night, clicking my toy pistol as I walked. As I walked around the neighborhood. Okay, we're going to put the book down for now. You want me to catch up on some of these questions?
Yeah, all right.
Do you feel up to it?
Yeah.
All right, here's some.
That was table time.
What's that?
That was a terrible time over there.
You didn't like Monroe, right?
No.
Okay. Let's see what kind of text we got here. Okay, if you don't feel like answering any questions, don't. Mr. Jeckovich, where were you born and raised?
Niagara Falls, New York.
What was your family life like before the war?
My family life?
Your family life like?
They were concerned about me going to getting drafted.
Okay. What were your hobbies and interests before the war?
I was doing woodworking then. My mother bought me a table saw from Sears and Roebuck's for $127. I had it down in the cellar and I was making stuff out of the table saw.
Mr. Jeckovich, how old were you when you got drafted?
19.
Yeah, Mr. Jeckovich waited to get drafted even though both his brothers enlisted. And the situation was that if you enlist, you can get a better position in the service. However, if you wait to get drafted, you're almost assured to go on the front line, correct?
That wasn't the gospel, no.
And why didn't you enlist?
Why didn't I enlist? Well, I had the right possible for my mother.
Mr. Jeckovich didn't enlist.
What are you looking up there? Something dripping on you?
Yeah. Mr. Jeckovich didn't enlist, but he waited to get drafted so he could spend more time caring for his mother because his father.
Well, I said I'm not going to leave her. They're going to have to drag me out. I knew I had to go, but I said at the last minute.
Because his father died at 43, and Mr. Jeckovich was the sole caretaker of his mother. Where did you go for basic training?
We're in the Army,
Yeah.
Fort Leavenworth.
Okay. What branch of the service did you end up serving in?
Army.
What was your initial impression of the military?
Well, I mean, it was regimented. You knew where you were going, what you had to do.
Okay.
Clean quarters all the time. Everything is spick and span.
During your combat experience, Mr. Jeckovich, Where were you stationed during the war?
In Europe. I was in every country in Europe.
Mr. Jeckovich, what major battles did you participate in?
Major battles?
Yeah.
Well, they talk about the Battle of the Bulge. That's just a misnomer. Every day was a battle, either battle or boring.
So it was very fluid.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich, your role in combat, was it infantry, medic, or a pilot?
It was infantry.
Okay.
I was in a flight of B-17. I was going back and forth on it, and they said, "Look, we got a lot of flyers. We'll pull you up, put you back in the infantry."
Right.
Well, that was D-Day, and they had a lot of casualties.
Yeah. Front
So
line.
they needed all the 33s they could get a hold of.
Yeah. 33 is the military code for teenagers being in the service. They turn out to be the best fighters with the most stamina. During World War II, 16,400,000 men and ladies participated in the war. Today we have less than 6,000 combat soldiers left, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 per day. So if there's any questions you have for Mr. John J. Jeckovich, minutes please. If there's any questions, text him at 407-366-0000.
3.5.
Huh?
3.5.
Text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. Mr. Jeckovich, how did you cope with the stress and dangers of combat?
How did I cope with it? Just the idea of staying alive.
Mr. Jeckovich, what were your thoughts and where were you when Pearl Harbor was bombed on December 7th, 1941?
I was skating on Jeckovich Road, Jeckovich Creek, and it was frozen. I was skating from getting from my house, or go all the way down to the fire hall. That was about a mile and a half.
So the news spread quickly.
Yeah.
And then what did your mother say?
2.5.
She said, "I'm afraid I'm going to lose you."
And she did get drafted shortly
Yeah.
thereafter. Wow.
I was drafted about 5 months after.
By the way, 2 days after Pearl Harbor was bombed, the Americans joined the World War II. The Canadians joined the first day after World War II was bombed. Minutes?
2.
They put all the Japanese in a compound in California. All the
2 minutes?
yeah.
You were in the European theater. Would you have been interested in going to the Pacific?
No. I don't want
You don't want nothing to do with
to.
that?
No.
Prior to the Americans entering the war, 2 days after the Pearl Harbor bombing, we were on the Lend-Lease programs where the United States would give plenty of money and plenty of equipment and weapons to Europe. We wanted out of it. But once our equipment got bombed, we had no choice to engage.
Yeah, we never got engaged. Yeah.
Our choice. How do you feel about when you learned about the atomic bomb?
It was the best thing that happened to stop the war.
Do you remember where you were?
I was in Europe. On Hampton West, England.
Mr. Jeckovich, what was your reaction to the war's end?
I was glad to get up, but I was concerned about getting home.
Concerned about getting
Oh,
home?
yeah. Because I had to make my whole mental adjustment. I was used to the Army. Then I go home and I had to put up with my mother.
Yeah.
Your mother says this, your mother
Yeah.
says that, my mother says this. You
Yeah.
gotta do this, you do
4
this.
seconds.
I couldn't do nothing. She said, "Well, you gotta do something for me first." And then when I started working with, I go have salad with her place. I go there and work half a day. Where you been all day? You're supposed to be over here working here.
So your mother really wanted you to work there all the time?
Yeah, she wanted me to be there all the time.
Wow.
But she didn't ask Lookie or Stevie to do it. Stevie was out of the way. Lookie was, they're both out of the way.
15 seconds.
So it was pretty tough making that adjustment.
Yeah.
Well, we got another one in the books. You did quite well answering the text. What do you want to do now, Mr. Jeckovich?